see what I'm saying? The example I gave is just like maybe one factor out of a network of factors that can be described as, abdication of responsibility. But it would have been better aggregate all these factors, maybe weave them together. A topic like failed responsibility and failed marriage. So, but just an isolated case of not cooking in a particular day, and it has to do with just one home. If you begin to research into that, you have very narrow seek object and you have very narrow focus, very narrow significance of study, which means it has to be a network of factors, not just one. I don't know whether you get what I mean.
I do.
So it becomes more significant if it has to do with a network of what factors. It has to do with a network of factors. It becomes more what significant. So, but just understand the point I'm making. I know the example may not be, may not just hit high, but at least I want to convey something out of it, which is we look at the value addition of the research. It's important, what process bringing to the table. I don't know whether we are together. By the time the work is done, what stands together? What will be the vision of the study? What will be policy? Will it lead to policy advocacy? Or will it kind of negate or trigger policy in a certain direction? What will be the research indication? How does it add to the body of what knowledge? Research incremental. I don't know whether we are together.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We are. Yes, sir. We can hear.
Research is an incremental process, and it's also recycling. To tell you the whole truth, there is no new area of research. Whatever you're doing must have an alignment theory or an alignment empirical finding. Most times we just fill a gap from already studies or work. We look at what has been done before. Maybe you try to work on the geography. Probably a work was done in US. You want to replicate it, bring it down to Nigeria, or you contextualize it to Nigeria, so that you can see whether what happened in US also happens in Nigeria. That could just be the gap. The gap may arise. Okay, let me talk about something important. When we are looking at the value addition of a study, the value addition can come in the area of geographical gap. I don't know whether you're following this.
Yeah, we're following. So again, I have a concern. Okay. You mentioned that oftentimes what is being researched on is basically to fill a gap, a research gap. And in my own thinking, I think the society is actually evolving and things are coming up here and there. In the space of sciences, we have disruptions here and there, AI, artificial intelligence, different things coming up every day. And some of these things may not necessarily have been worked on before. In medical sciences too, we can look at issues around, maybe like upsurge of diseases going around, like the coronavirus that is ravaging the whole world at the moment. If these things are new, if this exists, these occurrences are new, the inventions are new, I don't think they may be necessarily filling a gap if someone is going to start doing researches on it. I mean, even in the medical sciences, they are looking for cure for Ebola, they're looking for cure for HIV, they're looking for cure for coronavirus. If we come up with all of that.
Let me cut you short.
Okay,
now,
sir.
When we look at gap, you see, when you research, there's what we call theoretical underpinning research.
Yes.
Are you getting what I mean? That means whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter how novel may appear, there must be a bit of an alignment to something that's been done before. There must be a connection in terms of method, a connection in terms of geography. If you're doing Ebola study, you can look at prevalence across geography. Somebody may have done a study along that line, and then look how it affects the US and how it affects developing nations and all that. The point I'm actually making is that even God himself made us understand that he has created. So what we are doing is we are discovering what he has created. So nothing is actually, there is no absolute novel area of study.
Okay, sir, sorry. I know maybe I'm a bit pushy on this, and I think maybe my background is also hello. Can you
go ahead?
Sir?
Hello, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm talking through my wife's phone right now. We're both in the class. My phone just went off. I wasn't charging it.
So you and your wife are here?
Okay.
Yes, myself and my wife were here.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, for someone coming from my background, I'll be looking at intellectual property protection. If, for example, maybe a research is done, and to some extent, I think the research is novel in such a way. The researcher may necessarily want to protect that research legally, giving some level of intellectual property protection to say that this is what I invented, this is what came up from my research and all of that. And for any other person to use, it may have to pay license fees and all of it. Where is the space of that in research if nothing is really new?
Okay, now do you know that before you back on that study, you must have looked at what others have done before, create for the work you're doing. Am I correct? That's like carving niche for yourself. I don't know what I got. Hello?
Hello, sir?
Do I still have you?
Hello? I can barely hear.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, sir.
Okay, I was saying that you are looking at intellectual property, like protection of your intellectual property. In research, if you do a work, and there is no reference work, that you never look at the diary. Okay. All right. So, and if you're looking at the literature and diary, you must refer to what others have done before. What they have done before may not exactly be equal to what you are doing, but you must look at what they have done to be able to justify what you are doing. You know, to define light, you have to give attention to darkness. Is that right? To define light, you must give attention to darkness. To it your work, to contextualize your work, you must look at what others have worked. So even if what you are doing is not in direct alignment with what you have done, you have to use their own to define your own. So by that, you are referring to an work. So by that, you are more like doing a discriminant analysis. You're trying to eliminate what is discriminate what you're doing from what is existing. Build in a manner that look, what I'm doing is novel against the backdrop of what is. So referring to what they have done, it's more like creating a gap for yourself. That's the gap. You are looking at laws on intellectual property protection, and then you are able to identify their lapse sort of. Thank God you're a lawyer. You people amend laws from time to time. When you look at the lacuna in law, you try to create new laws to fill that lacuna. I think that's what you guys call it.
True, that's right.
So when you're looking at the lacuna in law, before you make a fresh law, you must look at the gap. What is the need for this law? And then finding the need for this law will mean looking at existing laws, finding the limit of the existing law, so that you make this fresh law and you need to block the gap created by the law. That's actually what I'm saying. And research is that before you even start, you begin to talk of gaps. What in the literature? What are the areas touched? What are the areas covered? What are the areas that are left untouched? How do I do something to cover these uncovered areas? That's what research is all about. And it has to be mental. Whatever you are doing must be an addition, whole body of knowledge, the whole body of research finding to be available for first. That's precisely what I'm talking about. Okay. So it shouldn't be, hello?
I said it's well understood now.
So what you're doing should not be a total disconnection from what has been done before. Your ability to align it. In fact, when you're writing your research project, ask you what's all underpinning of your study. It's important because most work typically underpin. What are the empirical underpinnings of your study? Then you are also expected to contextualize the study, both conceptualize it and you contextualize it. So by conceptualizing it, you are looking at the concepts that underlie that area of study. By contextualizing it, you're looking at the geography of the study. So these are things to give attention to. And by that, we always the end of one research as the beginning of another. Like you people say in law, where one's right ends, another one's right
begins.
Where one research stops, another research was a never-ending cycle. Just a never-ending cycle. We are saying the same thing, right? Only try to align the things you're saying, proper research balance. I don't know whether I was able to put.
I think I get the perspective in which you're discussing it. It makes us a lot of sense now.
All right. Okay, so like we're saying, it begins with identifying a what problem.
Problem.
So the justification for the problem is what? The value was addition. You know, a research process becomes an exercise if it doesn't have value was addition.
Addition.
So that's where we have a problem, especially in developing countries and in Nigeria, for example. Most research works, or most purportedly done research works, end up on shelves in university libraries. But then there should be a linkage, there should be a nexus between the research out of physicians and the industry. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The findings made by way of research carried out in universities and colleges and institutions of higher learning, you know, the researches made there, the findings made should represent, should help influencing policy industries, influencing policy government, that basically the larger society. The research findings should the larger society and guide them towards making informed decisions in management of public resources, in microeconomic management and macroeconomic management. But sadly, it's not the case. Most times, students just write whatever it is they write and submit as, and then it is dumped there. They are graded and then they dump it at work. So there is a disconnect between research output as made available by institutions and then the policy considerations that emanate from both public sector management and private sector management. But basically, the real thing, you know, the real thing is that private sector practitioners, public sector practitioners should commission these institutions to carry out research that will guide them in whatever it is. All these look at, you know, all these represent what we may term the value of the study. When we are doing a study, when we are identifying a research problem, we always ask ourselves, what, how does it society, how does it decision making, how does it society? That's one. Then secondly, I've already said what the vast majority of people that are affected when this problem solved, another constitution. Then thirdly, we look at, are they evaluation criteria for solving the problem? You know, when the problem is solved, how do we measure? What would be the measurement? What would be the parameter to identify whether or not the problem has been solved? It shouldn't be like the dark. Shouldn't be a guesswork. You know, has it been solved? Has it not been solved? That's actually where research, common sense. Are we together?
Yes.
Do I still have your attention?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is where research towards common sense. You know, common sense is based on assumption. It's based on maybe convention or age-long practice that if you have a court and a leaf that is called in Nigeria is close by, just grab it easy, sit on the, you know, even if you like put it like 20 times, no dosage, just eat it until it covers the. What are the parameters? What are your measurements as per, you know, whether these juice of this can cure the world? The several things that are based on assumption and common sense. Sometimes they tell you, I think, I'm looking for examples now. I'm looking for examples, things that are based on common sense, like traditional practice. Aja, can you come to my rescue? Hello?
Hello, sir.
I'm looking for one common traditional practice that are not scientifically okay. Like if you look at all these herbal medicine, some of them are based on common sense. Yes. You know, that's why I'm scared of it. There's no dosage administration. It's drink as much as you can. Just keep drinking. It doesn't stop. If it doesn't stop, you don't stop it. Just that way. It's not based on rational assumption. It's not based on a scientific process. You know, there are no parameters to measure successful outcomes or failures. They are just based on assumption. They are just based on local intelligence. That's like common sense. But one thing about common sense is that the processes are not repeatable. The processes are not repeatable. And you can't vouch for the constancy of the outcome. You know, you can't say do this thing under the same circumstances, but no, it doesn't happen that way. But in research is based on scientific process. Research based on processes that are repeatable. Research based on constancy of outcome. In other words, X put against Y under said circumstance, you produce a certain result. Then if at any other time you X against Y under the same Z circumstance, you should be able